Hey everybody, it's Ken Faulkner. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here with all these knives and things. I don't know. This is a video. Kind of came up with the idea yesterday, and I'm like not a little. I don't know. I like the theme. I like the whole idea of it, but I know YouTube's like kind of iffy about stuff. Um, Basically, this is tactical knives. Tactical knives. I mean, it's not. I had to kind of go back in time because when I first started liking knives, that's what it was all about. I mean, I loved all the movies and everything like that. I'm not trying to say that I'm Rambo or Bruce Lee or anybody like that. I am not trying to say that I know everything there is to know about tactical and all the details of knife fighting. And that can be debated on and on. From the years of training martial arts and being so just loving it, really, just loving it, and not really wanting to like get into it with anybody and say, oh no, that martial art's not good. No, that way of doing it isn't good. That's not the real thing. People can just argue all day long, but martial arts at the end of the day, for the most part, especially like at least in our style, it's mostly kids now, and it really they're kind of have something to do. It's just like a kind of for a lot of them, it's almost like a soccer or basketball or baseball or something like that. But also, it does give you some discipline. It does. We have a lot of rules to follow. Traditional. It's a traditional style. It's not like free for all. It's not like babysitting. We're trying to not be mean. We're not like slapping anybody around and getting crazy, but just the discipline of it and everything like that. So anyway, I love all that stuff, and I love tactical stuff. I've loved all the movies, the samurais, the ninjas, the you know old knights, swinging big old two-handed broadswords. I love all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know why. I do. I just always do. I think for me, it feels like it's like a normal human thing. It's a normal human thing to, I mean, because look at all the societies throughout history. They've always had some kind of combat arts of some kind. It doesn't have to be the Asian arts. It could be like, wrestling or boxing or all these other kind of things. And I've done all that different kind of stuff, little bits and pieces. I mean, I've been a little bit more specialized in certain things. But anyway, so I love all that stuff. So when I was growing up, I was buying knives, and I was getting stuff that was like this. This is definitely from my early days. It's a dagger, and it's very tactical, right? This looks super tactical. I don't even know who this is, and I don't really care. Parker Brothers. I just loved it, and it just has that tactical thing. It's big and heavy. It's like and maybe not to be the most wieldy of daggers. I mean, daggers for me, and I'm gonna kind of get into it, and it's just my opinion, okay? And I do not mind if people want to share their opinion. I don't want any like getting into it in the comments with anybody else, especially if somebody's commenting on somebody else's video. It's like I've had this happen to me before. I comment on somebody else's video, and then they comment on my video and start telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. That's not cool, guys. That is not cool. Of course, I'm not going to be able to stop it, right? I'm just going to ask, please don't. But I would love to hear people's ideas and things like that because I love talking about this kind of stuff. So daggers for me is a very quick knife. It's like, I have a smaller one. I was thinking about bringing that one out, but this one looks more tactical because it's got all that, and tactical really doesn't necessarily have to be fighting or killing or whatever. You don't want to get too crazy with that and get kicked off of YouTube or something. It could be about survival. So, you having the serrations can be something that you can use to cut your way through something that you need to cut through. So it's kind of cool, but really a dagger is a stabbing more than a cutting thing. So it happens to have serrations on it, but yeah, it's that's what it's kind of meant for, and it's kind of that, you see all the prison movies where someone's making a shank out of a toothbrush or something like that, and that's kind of like the real I mean, it's really the tip is the main thing on that. I've always been kind of more into slicing things like samurai swords. You know, when you see the samurai, I took kendo for a while. It's fun. They're swinging those swords, but they're not stabbing so much. They're doing mostly swinging, and I love that sort of thing. I like Kali, you know, Arnis or Eskrima or whatever name you want to call it, Filipino martial arts, because they do the sticks, they do the knives. So you know, I can totally relate with the knives. Michael Janisch has this technique called martial blade concepts, and I've talked about it a bit. And I did do a seminar with that, and I've watched some videos and stuff like that. And I like the style of that. And he designed this knife, and he tested it specifically when he was developing to find out what was the correct blade shape for that use. But that's kind of got a lot of Filipino martial arts involved in it. So anyway, so I'll just go through this stuff and talk about my ideas and things like that. It's really about tactical knives in my collection, and it's really because I like the concept, but 100% I'm, you know, ever since I started carrying every day, it's about having a tool. That's what it's really about. And I'll use any of these as a tool. It doesn't matter how tactical it is. You know, I'll use it for cutting over boxes or the box with all the little coffee pods in the break room or whatever. You know, I'll use those kind of things. So let's just get through it. I mean, we already showed you the dagger, and then you got the U.S. This one's the Army version of the K-bar. Another classical. And again, you got that serration. And this has definitely kind of got, you know, the fighting ability, like the whole thing with the Bowie or Bowie style. That's very much a fighting knife. You know, it's very much meant for that. A lot of times it's sharpened on the back edge, which this one isn't. But you get those kind of backward swings and stuff like that. But it definitely can be used for getting into cans of food or whatever. I'm moving fast because there's a lot of knives here. I can't really go into too much detail on all of them. But anyway, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people talked about how the tang is kind of weak here and people have problems with it bending or whatever. But anyway, I'm not here to debate that whole thing. You know, if you want to bring it up in the comments, you know, be polite. I mean, state your opinion. Feel free. But, you know, I just don't want to get all like, you know, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want to say, hey, this is what I think. This is cool. And let's do it and say, if you tell me I'm wrong, I'm probably not going to listen to you. But if you tell me, hey, this is what I think, I'm going to listen. And I'm going, hey, that's cool. I never really thought of that. Or, you know, yeah, I see what you mean, but I kind of see it a little different. This guy's like a fighting knife. This is a Work Tough Gear Lanzetta. It's got that style, and it's got that almost a Bowie kind of thing. Again, it's not sharpened on the back side, but it does have that recurve. But it can definitely be used for, you know, doing wood processing, you know, whatever you want to do as far as a good camp knife as well. Great handle. I mean, handle's super important when it comes to this stuff. I mean, you really need to be able to hold on to your knife. You don't want to get a knife out because you got to defend your life and then you drop it and the other guy picks it up and uses it against you. You definitely don't want that. Anyway, so those are the fixed blades. This is a little off thing. It wasn't even on my list, but I bought this a while ago, and this is like the cool factor look thing. This is a M3 Tactical, and I remember I had bought one of their knives, and I lost a screw, and they sent it to me for free. And I thought it was so cool, and I went on their website. I want to buy something because they were so cool. I wanted to buy something of theirs. So they had this what they call a spike. Right, so it's not even all that. It's not even that sharp, but it certainly can do some damage. And it also kind of has this kind of area here where you can, I don't know, you can scratch your itches or whatever you want to do with it. But it kind of carries nicely in a little pocket, and you just kind of reach in, boom, and it's out, and it's ready to scratch your itch. Okay, moving on. I got some groups of knives, and some of them are more kind of generally tactical, I think, and specifically like the Sig Sauer is kind of, you know, it goes along with that pew pew thing. And you know, I don't also, you know, ever try to say that this is the greatest ever self-defense weapon the knife, because obviously it's cutting edges were all of the rage back in the day before the firearms came along, right? And then the firearms took over. So that's the main thing. I'm not a firearms guy. I'm not anti, but I'm not like really into it like I am with knives. So, I'm fine with the whole, protect your house type thing, but, I'm not like into collecting them and all the different ones and all that. I think, I kind of see it as cool. It's kind of like cars and stuff. I'm not big on cars. I spend all my money on knives, to be honest with you. So 6 hour, I mean, this is a smaller one, definitely faster. So you got a combination of bigger ones, which aren't as fast and not as sneaky, meaning you can, with something like this, it's not so noticeable. You can be a little bit, you can get in something that the other one, when you see somebody coming with this thing, it's really big and it tends to be more obvious when you start moving this thing around. Whereas the little ones tend to be faster, and it's almost like the difference between kendo and fencing, which is another thing I used to do, is fencing. Very quick and light. Quick and light. So you have some tactical knives that are quick and light. Again, a good grip. It's got that I always talk about that like a skateboard tape type thing, but it is very grippy. I mean, that's what it's made for. I mean, why would they put it on skateboards if it wasn't grippy, right? So yeah, it's a cool knife. I really like this knife. I got actually two versions of it. I got an aluminum handle one and this one, but I figured I'd get this one out because it's got that, that grip. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna try to get this thing done fairly quick, but I hope I don't, ruin it by being too fast. Microsoft. Oh my gosh! See, that's what happens when you start trying to move fast, right? So this is the Microtech, and this is the SOCOM Bravo. This is the SOCOM Bravo. They have a couple different versions of this. This is actually the Chinese one from Reich. But yeah, it's definitely got that whole tactical vibe. Very much a great thumb ramp that helps you with supporting, anything you're stabbing into a can or something to get some food. What would Chris on Professional Dad call that thing? You know what I'm talking about. If you watch his channel, if you don't, you should check it out because he does a lot of cool things. I really enjoy his stuff. Anyway, this is very solid. Easy to grab a hold of, big. I like something that's light and fast, but has some reach to it. Now, when it comes to any kind of combat-ish sort of thing, reach is super important. Like distance is people think that you learn. I see people like at the gym, and they go to the heavy bag and they just kind of swing at it, and there's just no technique at all. And some people, I've seen people argue, well, why do you train with something like a knife? Why would you train with that? It's like the thing is that there's a difference between just swinging wildly and having technique. And I think technique is going to be a big part. Now, there's a reality in the fact that if you're in a confrontation of any kind, be it with weapons, someone's pushing you or yelling at you or whatever, there is a bit of a freak out thing where your adrenaline starts pumping and you kind of lose your ability to like find motor skills, kind of go out the window. So I feel like training kind of helps you prepare you for those situations where you're, if you ever have been punched in the face, it's very wild. It's like it changes the way you feel about the whole thing. I mean, and if you've never been punched in the face and someone, comes at you and does it, you're not going to be prepared for it. I mean, no matter, well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I wasn't. I mean, the first time I got punched in the face, I wasn't prepared for it. But once you've done it for a while, if you do some boxing or anything with like some contact, with protection, it kind of helps you to know what it feels like to get hit. If someone's throwing punches at you, you kind of know what it feels like to have punches thrown at you, and it changes how you react to it, so you don't freak out and panic too much. and you also develop what's called blanket muscle memory on things. So if you train over and over again with like combinations and things like that, you'll find that here's a funny story. My martial arts instructor told me about. He would where a police officer was training with knives and going back and forth with knives, and they would go back and forth and they train, and they, someone would come at him and they disarm the guy, and then they hand the knife to the other guy. So after you disarm, and then you hand it back to him, and you hand it back to him, and then I guess this guy was a police officer, and he was in a situation, and he did his drilled thing, and then he went to hand it back to the guy. The guy obviously didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought he was crazy, but he fortunately, he realized what he was doing. But it's a motor skill thing, and if you never have trained, if you haven't, and you don't think I know what I'm talking about, you think I'm full of it, I'm not going to try to convince you, because I'm not going to be able to. I'm just kind of giving my experience of it. And like I say, I'm no Rambo, no Bruce Lee, no, UFC fighter or anything like that. I love all that stuff. And I have mad respect for all that stuff, So anyway, sorry about the purple cord. My phone was almost dead. Anyway, I gotta keep moving. I've been flicking this Microtech for a while. Got another Microtech, the Amphibian. It's another one. So again, it's reach. It's long, great handle, just gripping well. The recurve has a good cutting edge. I mean, a lot of these have like some kind of a belly for it. So it does have that kind of, they use this kind of shape for skinning animals. So you kind of see how that might apply, so to speak. But I think this is a great knife because you got plenty of handle, so you're not worried about not being able to hold on to it. It just really feels good in the hand. I got a couple over here that are like the traditional people get scared of thing, and they've become quite legally challenged. It's your OTFs. I don't have an actual switchblade. I would love to have like a push button, like the old fashioned ones. They have some really nice ones, but they can be pretty expensive. I don't have a lot of these, and I can't carry them because I'm in California. But I don't know that this would be my go-to. It does look very tactical. This one is the No Limit. What was it called again? No Limit Night Stalker. See, it's even got a tactical name to it. The Night Stalker. It's very snappy, very solid. It's got some titanium as well as aluminum on here. I think it was made by Max Ace. Man, that's great. And then it's got that attitude adjuster thing, or break a window thing. So I hear a lot of law enforcement. Obviously, I'm not a law enforcement guy, so I don't know. But I've heard of a lot of them carrying stuff like this. But you never know what to. You hear a lot of things, right? You never know what to believe. Then there's this dude. I love these when I was a kid. Man, so much fun. So hard to do under the camera without scattering everything. I love it's got a Tanto, again, how do you pronounce it? Blade, Baron Sons. This is actually a USA made knife. Pretty cool, and reasonably priced. This is one of the few here that's in like the budget case. Baron Sons, where did I got that on the list? Because it's down in the $52 range. So for a USA made knife, if you can buy them, I think I got this one in Arizona. You can get a pretty decent one, and it's not like something that you're going to win a volley competition with. It doesn't have bearings, I don't believe, or anything like that. It's pretty basic as far as that's concerned, and I pretty much own it just for fun. I got a lot of trainers that I'll flick around, but I'm not like volley song competitor type, but it is fun. It is definitely fun. But I think people are more likely to hurt themselves than somebody else. So if they make it illegal just so they don't get so many people ending up in the hospital because they use the wrong end of the blade when they're flicking it, and they flicked it this way and they cut their fingers off. still, I don't think that laws are there for people to protect themselves from themselves so much. Especially since some of these things aren't really, depending on who it is the person, right? Anyway, we can talk about that all day long. It's the person and not the object, because I could pick up a chair leg and kill somebody with it. Not that I would do that, but I mean, you can do that, and I just say you can't. And like I think that kitchen knives are more often used in crimes than in other knives. Probably more domestic violence type stuff, but in any case, you can't make them illegal because you need to cut your food when you make it, right? So I mean, that's the whole thing. But anyway, I don't want to go too deep because I'm gonna end up going too long. So Spyderco, I talked about Michael Janich, and he did design this. This is the jumbo version. There's the jumbo version, and he did like this whole thing where he put meat and wrap it up in cellophane and cut with it and see how it reacted to it and stuff like that. So it does have that great hollow grind, and I've showed this a few times. This is not a big reveal or anything on this guy, but this is a fun one. I like a good big knife from the concept of self-defense, even though it's not the main reason why I carry knives. And in fact, it's not even the reason. I think Scab is the one that mentioned that recently, where he says he doesn't carry knives for self-defense. He knows that he could use them if he needed to, but you could also, put some keys in your hand and punch somebody with your key sticking out, and that can do some serious damage. So this is like the Carahawk from Spyderco. It's got that whole. I played around quite a bit. I got some trainers to do so you don't slice yourself up as well. But it's a fun to play with. But yeah, it's not really something that I would really particularly, if I knew that there was some reason I had to defend myself and all I had were these knives in front of me, it wouldn't be the first one I would pick up if I had time to sit and think about it. But sometimes you don't have that time. It does have the wave feature. I think that's really good for self-defense because things can move fast, really fast. And so again, Matriarch, is the Matriarch, is this one? Yeah, the Matriarch 2. It does have that wave, and it also has this, which is going to do some serious damage, in that case. And it's pretty much what this is made for. I mean, even this too, although this is awesome for getting packages open. Any kind of hawkbill is just great for cutting certain things where you're just trying to cut into a box or cardboard. It's just very cutty, very cutty. This one here, not so much because it's going to get caught up with the serrations, but yeah, definitely. So I just got this one more for fun. And sometimes I'll carry stuff like this just for fun. I mean, and I'll use it. I'll use it for fun. But it's not necessarily the most practical certainly for just like an everyday carry. Yeah, I hope this is coming off okay. You guys tend to be so supportive of me. I know one of these days you're going to kind of go, Ken, you really just went off the rails this time. These two look the same, but I've talked about trainers a couple times in this video. And this is... except it's not a left hand. I'm put pressure on the lock bar. This is a trainer version of this knife. Although this is the Tanto shape where this one is not. But the whole concept of it, and it's a good concept, is getting that muscle memory and remembering how to open, deploy, use. And if you're going to train with somebody like they have a knife, you have a knife, and you're, we've done these things where... I don't know if you ever heard of it before. Where you have you put on an old white T-shirt and then you get a trainer knife, probably not a metal one, maybe a rubber one or something softer. You could use metal, but we're actually usually using rubber. And then you put lipstick on the edge, and you go at it with each other, and you're going super fast. And then at the end of the thing, you kind of look at each other and go, "Oh yeah, you got me," with the red from the lipstick. It goes on the white T-shirt and. That's pretty fun. I mean, all this stuff can be really, really fun. I mean, people get scared. Man, of all the times when I've been training and people walk by the dojang and they go, "Wah!" and they make all these sounds and stuff like that. I mean, the thing is that people get scared and they make fun of things that they're scared of, and it's, you know, and it's really not scary for one thing, because we teach that you avoid fighting, you know, and people that are really skilled. I mean, not me, I'm talking about, but people I've known that are really, really, really skilled. You won't fight them because they have this aura about them. Unless you're either crazy or a super badass, you're not going to fight them because they just have this way about them where you just kind of know that they have control of the situation. I mean, really. And that's kind of a lot of what you get from martial arts. It's like a confidence so that people can tell that you're not a victim. You're not somebody to be bullied, kind of thing. I don't know. I know I'm throwing out a lot of stuff here. That's not what it's really all about. It's about talking about tactical knives. Now, this one is the Skinner. What is it called? This is a Emerson Market Skinner. This one is the the Kershaw version of the Emerson CQC 7K. This is the bladed one, and then this is the non-bladed one. And they put the holes in there, and when you're going to train with somebody, you hold it up and they say, "Hey, look, see." You know, so everybody knows that you didn't accidentally have the bladed one in your pocket. You show it to your partner beforehand, and everybody knows, okay, we're safe. Anyway, so this is a real Emerson, not the Kershaw version of it. A little bit more solid. Definitely, it is a Skinner, but it definitely would work, and it's super grippy. This one's maybe even more grippy than that skateboard tape stuff. Really grippy. I like that for self-defense or anything where you're hard using, because if you're working hard with something, that's when it's more likely to come out of your hand. Back to some big ones. This is another one that's pretty decent price. This is the Off-Grid Stinger XL. And this is a folding version of a dagger, although it isn't sharp on this side. Most folding knives aren't sharp on this side. There is the antimatter. I talked about that in that last video from Arcane Designs, and that is sharp on both sides. But you got to really watch what you're doing. But this still has that same kind of penetrating thing. It's pretty solid. You could probably do some slashing with this one as well. But good full-size handle, good solid blade. I mean, if you ever watch Forged in Fire, I love that show. Again, it goes down to all the stuff that I'm just into since I was a kid, and I guess I'm still a kid deep down inside. When Doug Micarta is going against the gel dummy, and it's got bones and stuff inside there, you never know what you're gonna hit if you're in a situation like that, and it's good to have something nice and thick. Look at the way this is so supported, just the thickness here, and that's what I feel that a Tonto, American Tonto especially, has very well supported tip and front end of the blade. I'm not sure that the secondary makes that much difference in that kind of use. It's great for opening things, because if you want to open a box, you can use that tip. So I've used that many a time. This one is the Heretic Wraith M, and it's a cool knife with the shipwreck on there. Carbon steel integral, very cool knife, and just feels good in hand. Definitely could be used for this kind of thing that we're talking about here. And then we got, last but not least, the Spartan Harsey folder, which is designed and made by people who were in combat, and all the things that I kind of dreamed about as a kid, they actually did it. They've actually done the stuff. And, they are the real Rambos. They are the real deal. And, when they're making a knife, obviously they're going to think about what they learned from their experience with it. So, I mean, it's a really great knife. It's a beautiful knife. Got the royal flush on there. and it's great design and solid and all that kind of thing. But yeah, you know, it just feels to me like this has some usefulness embedded in the design. So that's it, guys. Yeah, I was kind of like hemming and hawing about doing this, whether or not I really felt like doing it. I know I kind of geek out a little bit about it and go off into deep ends and things like that. So hopefully, you know, some people might not enjoy it. You know, some people are not going to be into this stuff at all, and I have no problem with that because knives are tools, or knives are beautiful functional art, all that kind of thing. But this is kind of like a side of me that I do this for fun, and this is part of the fun for me. Stuff like this, definitely fun, right? All right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight, and 30 minutes. There you go. All right, you guys have a good one, and I will be back with the next video this weekend, and I will see you then.